I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting of May 6, 2025, at exactly 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Councilman Warner.
Here.
Councilman Gleason. Councilwoman Leonard. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Present.
Mayor O'Connor.
Present.
We have a quorum.
If you are able, please stand before me to pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda? If not, then motion to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Mayor. I believe you had a proclamation you were going to add on.
Proclamation. But here's the kind of-
You do. You have it.
I need a motion to add clerk appreciation proclamation onto the agenda.
By having the proclamation to the agenda. Municipal clerk, we second.
We have a motion by Councilman Warner, seconded by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call. Councilman Warner.
Yeah.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Now I need a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Gleason, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Warner.
Yeah.
Motion carries 5-0.
Comments, this section of the agenda that allows for comments from the public to speak. These people will give us 3 minutes to comment. The comment card should be completed in terms of code. If you're called to speak, please go to the podium prior to addressing the council. State your name and address for the record. All public comment cards will be noted and may receive a response if necessary. Any follow-up will be handled by staff at a later time. Madam Clerk, do you have any comment cards?
We have a comment from Mr. Bobby Farmer.
Barbara.
Bobby Farmer, 4829, same. So, quick. So we get an update hopefully today on the trophy tree situation that was brought up last month. So hopefully we're gonna get something on that. And secondly, just to put things down on public record, look back, and I know I did this on, it was December 10th, 24. And I know we've done the traffic study. I personally don't know which streets or what was looked at, if it was just the one place, if it was the entire city. But my recommendation has always been in the business, I had said we need some form of traffic equipment at the Grove Market. Whether I recommended it on December that we get stop signs there. And on islets and persimmon that have the blinking lights in. So I brought this up a long time. You know, we see the residents posting, we see everybody going through the stop signs. I don't want to wait till there's a fatality. And I don't know if we could do another study. I don't know what can be done about it, but it's desperately needed, you know. As I understand, there some street lights possibly coming at that intersection of Grove Market. It's dark. There are some needed on Ilex, but we need some better traffic, you know. It needs to be that blinking red light, or yellow light. And hopefully stop signs again at Ilex. And I also think that at Water's Edge, I think that's a straight up right means what would be an intersection with a loop detector. That loop detection will keep traffic running the way everything wants to. So that's it. I'll put it down. Hope you all understand it. I'd like some, you know, feedback on it.
You just see, I'm highly in favor of the blinking stop sign, all 4-way stops.
ITID just okayed 50. I know we don't have their budget. They're putting in 50.
No, that's what I'm pushing for. We have budget talks coming up. So we'll address it there. I'll let staff address the to trophy thing at the end during this comments.
All right, perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Farber. Do you have any more comment cards, Madam Clerk?
You have a comment card from Mr. Brian Ash.
How you doing there?
Oh, yes, sir.
Brian Cash, 5359 St. Vincent Lane, we're good for Westlake. Both you, Mr. Warner as well. On April 12th, I had an accident outside of our development. And I'm very lucky to be here, actually. I was looking forward to coming this month. I didn't know I was going to make it, actually. Car was rear-ended, and your police, it stayed 2 hours with me, making sure it was okay, and also the other person hit me behind as well. I employed the stop signs that have now the blinking lights. That's not enough. But it's not that expensive. Put white lines down, put little things, puddles, whatever needs to be done. And during the day, those stop signs, you can't see those blinking lights. I've looked many times, and I've talked to you about it. So what I'm asking is maybe more patrols over there. People need to get used to those four-way stop signs. But you have a development that's going to have 810 homes coming out of Crestline, and the other vehicle just, they believe it's 3 years ago, there was no stop signs whatsoever. We need to have some more control of that. The car was totaled. It was out $5,000. And just got another one. I was able to get the same color, red, to make sure she saw me in the future. But I really would like the town council to make sure this is a serious nature. It's going to take someone who dies, but then people will say, I should have died. And I'm only asking you, please investigate it, do your surveys, whatever it is. But that intersection, now my wife says, why are you hesitating? I never hesitated. In all my years I've been driving. Unfortunately, now I've looked 3 times each way. I even honked my horn to make sure that I'm okay. So I just would like the town council to make sure that please, the intersection of Parkway, Town Center Parkway North and Crescent Place, we address that somehow. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, can we hear from the city manager? Because I did have a discussion with him regarding markings in the pavement. Stop ahead. Put a 4-way stop on to those signs. He's gonna check into it.
Yes, since they are under Sid's purview, I will be bringing it back to the Sid board as to the increase, but it does again have to meet with traffic standards in order to make changes. Cannot do just changes to put stuff out without meeting with standards that are available. But we are looking into stop ahead signs and potentially stop ahead on pavement. We'll have to see what the cost can. If it does,
Yeah, you could go to the SID board. Obviously, it's an issue. I've sent you countless emails about that. As well. So it's really important for that. Thank you, City Manager. Any more comments from,
I have no additional comment cards, Mayor.
is there anyone in the public? Okay, moving on. Proclamations, I'll start with the one we added. Municipal Clerks Week, May 4th through the 10th, 2025. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and the office of municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants. And whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides professional link between the citizens, the local government bodies, and the agencies of government at all levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality and their equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center and functions of local government in each community. Whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate, we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, John Paul O'Connor, Mayor of the City of Westlake do recognize the week of May 4th through 10th, 2025, Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Zoe Burgess, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they present. Our proclamation was sponsored by myself. And upon unanimous consent of the council, I declare this proclamation duly enacted. Next, we have declaring May 18th to the 25th, City of Westlake, Florida Water Reuse Week. So if you're following along, we've got the 4th to the 10th for municipal clerks, and then 18th to the 25th for water reuse. Whereas safe and clean, sustainable water resources are essential to Florida's environment, economy, citizens, and visitors. And whereas, although Florida's water supplies are finite, the state's population and need for water resources continues to increase. And whereas water reuse provides a means for conserving and augmenting Florida's precious water resources and is key to the state's sustainable water future. And whereas Florida has established the encouragement and promotion of water reuse and state objectives in chapters 373, 403 Florida statutes. Whereas Florida's permitted reuse capacity is more than 1.8 billion gallons a day, approximately 70% of the total permitted capacity for all domestic wastewater treatment facilities. Whereas Florida has risen to be the national leader in water reuse, reusing nearly 820 million gallons of reclaimed water per day to conserve freshwater supplies, and recharge our freshwater resources. Whereas May, typically a dry month, when water demands are high, it's a good time to educate residents about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources through water resource. And whereas Water Reuse Florida state section of the Water Reuse Association has proclaimed the week of May 18th through 24th, 2025 as Florida Water Reuse Week. And whereas the City of Westlake has joined with Water Reuse Florida, the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and South Florida Water Management District in encouraging and promoting water reuse and conservation. And whereas the City of Westlake encourages efficient and effective use of reclaimed water. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Westlake, hereby supports Water Reuse Florida and proclaims the 18th to the 24th as Water Reuse Week. Okay. In the state of Florida, the City of Westlake, Florida is calling upon each citizen and business to help protect our precious water resources by practicing water conservation, efficient and effective use of reclaimed water. 25, Water Reuse Week, folks. That's it. All right, we have Education Advisory Board update, school fundraising activities presented by Lee Kaplan. State your name and address.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members, Anita Kaplan, 5459 Standard Road Lane, Westlake, Restaurant. I'm here tonight to follow up on some of the discussion that we had at our last meeting about our fundraiser events. I believe you had copies in your packet of this document that's been modified to include that this is volunteer activities that report to the council. And the same thing in the school sponsorship opportunity that we're doing the outreach with the restaurants. So word has got out, I think, about this because the mayor and I got an email from the manager of Roger Dean Stadium wanting to do something for the schools. And he was proposing that we think about doing an evening at Roger Dean Stadium for all of Westlake, and that we would help serve the students and perhaps the teachers. So, Mayor, take your
Yes, so it's still in the very, very early stages. But basically the concept is they've offered to have a Westlake night at Roger Dean. where a percentage of the tickets, the tickets would be very inexpensive, $5 to $10. I don't know exactly what it would be. And then a percentage of half the ticket cost would go directly to the school. I explained that that's the only way that we could make the fundraising aspect of it work. Funnel through the city and in this gallery there, because it would be okay if it went directly to the schools. So that's going to be an exciting thing if it happens, and I think we've got some meetings scheduled to try to iron out the details. There'll be Westlake night at the stadium to watch the I know it was something work in it. I commend Dr. Kaplan for all her hard work.
We also talked a little bit about maybe doing something with the billboard, perhaps, place where they have the scoring for the football games, you know?
Yeah,
So that was one of the high needs when we spoke with Dr. Hatcher at the high school. But that was before we realized that there was somebody else that already had their name on it. So we don't know if there's a time frame or not on that. But it may be somebody wants, you know, to pursue with them. It's not the best thing in the world. It would be nice to have something kind of updated and it would promote the name or whoever the sponsor would be. We'll see. There is one new document that I just want to talk a little bit about, and that is school zoning. I think we've all kind of talked about some of the issues with where our schools are located. And we often hear from the parents how they have to go like ring around the rosy, you know, to get to the schools. And it became a hot topic at our recent educational advisory board meeting. So we decided to put together a letter to the school board to sort of start this. Now, whether this comes from us in the advisory board or you as the council, we're fine with whatever. We just kind of want to get the ball rolling. I know there were a couple of people that Marcia Andrews mentioned that were supposedly going to be working on this. But I wanted to reach out to her to see if she could help make sure that this went through the process of getting on an agenda at school board meeting. I happened to attend a school board meeting a couple of weeks ago. It was an interesting day. There was a lot of TV people in there and had a lot to do with sort of who would have access to the campus and for what reasons.
Do you have, get a copy of that letter?
Yes, it's, yeah.
Just add to that. This is regarding Western the school. But our students all go to Osceola, which is actually in the way. Students going to our.
And that's official.
Yeah. Which is a small population.
Right.
This is. And it can be brought like.
This is the fundraising.
Oh, every city, the school board or the advisory. That's
City.
the boundaries that we're talking about. There, right.
Respectfully, I would advise any correspondence emanating from the city not come from the advisory board.
There you go.
It needs to have approval of the council.
That's right.
And respectfully, that's bigger.
Agreed. Agreed.
I have a pretty active and cooperative group, so it's really kind of exciting
great.
and fun to work with them. I hope we're going to get it.
Well,
You can put this on the agenda.
Yes.
For the next meeting.
let's put it on the agenda for the next meeting. In the meantime, obviously, we can't email each other directly, but let's all give our input to council, city manager. Hopefully by next meeting, we can have a letter. that we can move forward. So I'd love that between all of us directly with whoever, get our ideas together, and that maybe staff can give us back a polished version as a whole.
And you have a copy of that in your.
Right, and then we can iron out the details of that meeting. And hopefully that's something to send to Marcia, who's not fired. We'll have a good school.
Just for another year.
Yeah. Got that? Mr. Committee?
So the letter drafted in our packet tonight we should all take a look at it and see.
Take a look at it. Sure.
And then hopefully they can take all of our ideas and come back with something cohesive. That will then discuss at the next meeting.
And the advisory board to.
Yeah, we put it together at the last meeting, so you have some things to work on.
I love the work of this advisory board too. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
one of the most effective tools is if the parents of all the students show up at the school board meeting that raise community about the district boundaries. When we were first city in 2016, the school board purposely zoned all the students in Westlake to other schools. And the reason being is we didn't have any school here. So therefore, other people who were assigned to the schools would show up there, from the school board, and they would get their way. It's time now for the residents of children here in Westlake to show up at the school board and force the school board to change the boundaries so that the students within Westlake are going to the nearest school possible.
Absolutely.
Board night.
And that's something that the committee certainly avoids. And let me know whenever that is, because I'll be happy to show. So. Right, this section of the agenda is list of routine or administrative items that require final approval by the city council may be approved in its entirety by a single motion. If no discussion of these items, unless the council member requests such motion, then the item will be removed from the consent agenda and put it on the future agenda.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Langowski, second by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor. Councilman Warner.
Yeah.
Councilman Gleason.
Yeah.
Motion carries 5-0.
We have before us the second reading of ordinance 2025-02, site design guideline for non-residential property. City attorney by title.
Yes, sir. Ordinance by title only, an ordinance of the city council, city of Westlake, Florida, amending chapter 101 of the city of Westlake's code of ordinances entitled General Administrative Provisions by specifically amending section 101-194 entitled Applications under Article 3 entitled Procedures, providing for additional site design guideline for non-residential development in the MU district, the town center district, and the medical district, providing for complication, conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
So thank you, good evening, Crystal. Mayor, for the record, Stanley Elm City, Mayor, City of Westlake. Before you is ordinance 5-02. This is the second reading. First reading was approved by the council, and this will be the adoption hearing for this ordinance. There has been no changes from the previous first reading.
Is it on the side? I think.
This is a proposed language. Again, no changes from the first reading, however. Cost benefit analysis of serious use for cost. And this cost benefit analysis, crosswalks versus alternatives. Looking at the overview of installation, maintenance, safety, and aesthetic trips. Again, these analysis compares crosswalk pavers to alternatives such as painted lines that will plastic, markings, and sand concrete, and asphalt. Installation. So the materials you typically use for crosswalks, we have the pavers, sand concrete, sand asphalt, paint, and then plastic. Based on our research, the pavers are high upfront costs, they cost between 22 and 30 per square foot. However, they do have low maintenance. Payment lines have the lowest cost with plastic, obviously. For the do not sand asphalt between 8 and 12 per square foot. They are durable and cost is moderate. Sand concrete, the highest cost and also low maintenance. Benefit comparison between them, the pavers, again, they're long lasting, they provide aesthetics and traffic calming. Painted lines, they're the lowest cost, the low durable, and they provide basic visibility. Thermoplastic, sand asphalt, visually appealing. Sand concrete. Maintenance and aesthetics, the pavers are easy to replace versus, for example, repaving asphalt. Pavers are visually appealing for commercial branding and also they enhance walkability and customer experience versus the other materials. The developers do have concerns with pavers. They are concerned for excessive wear and tear on shopping parks. Accessibility for pedestrians, sometimes through a multi-surface, which may be uncomfortable for wheelchairs, users, and frequent issues for pedestrians. Uneven surface when not properly maintained. And many systems are designed for parts and vehicle traffic. For ADA compliance, many paver products are ADA compliant. They provide smooth finishes, tight joints. Scenario-based recommendations, you will see that section, pavers, sort of district, and asphalt. Budget areas, they'll lines, main infrastructure, every pavers, these require maintenance to function properly. And in school zones, that use a thermoplastic for visibility. This is a visual comparison chart. See the, thermoplastic is the highest benefit for its cost. Durability, pavers are the most durable out of all of them. Safety, thermoplastic because of the visibility that provide. Aesthetics, pavers went that one, they're the most aesthetic easily material and moderate pavers, but to are the right maintenance.
Where did that chart come from? Is that
Summary, the concerns are valid for pavers, particularly for the whole system, and they're not properly installed. Modern solutions on this kind of approaches can effectively address the wear risk and accessibility, yet only installed and maintained. The pavers are the best for aesthetics, but durability, whatever they do, cost upfront. Painted lines, but best for short term, lowest cost. Thermoplastic, best visibility and lifespan. Stamp asphalt, they provide good aesthetics, medium lifespan, and stamp concrete at the highest of all of them. Sources that we use for this information.
thank you for that.
Yeah. First of all, I kind of left, I didn't request this a couple months back. And I see a need for it, so that we get some consistency throughout our development. Had some issues about papers, and I asked the planner, he may have pursued the question with the SID manager. SID has over 100 crosswalks, all of them pavers. And I'm just curious to know what kind of maintenance issues SID has encountered.
Yes, sir. I mean, yeah, we did, research of that, and right now there has been no issues with maintenance. There has been no repairs for the existing pavers.
So as long as they're installed properly, the earth meter is properly compressed, to the right standards, they're the most durable solution for crosswalks. And my interest is to see that we don't only put pavers in the crosswalks that connects to our mobility trails, but throughout the parking area where developments are proposed, when crosswalks are required to be shown on the site plan. So that's what's lacking in this ordinance right now. I'd like to suggest that the council amend the ordinance to require that all required crosswalks that are shown.
So. Only person of us here, I was the only one who was on the council. Phase one elements was the proposed. Staff actually recommended we do papers. Public fought tooth and nail against us doing the pavers in the crosswalk because of the carts. When you're going back and forth with the carts, you're like inside Publix and I don't know if you've ever had two bottles of wine next to each other in a car, you get scared when you start hearing that with the carts. And they were so adamant to the point where I don't know if we would have Publix today if we forced them to do pavers. It had to do with the carts going to the cost of the carts, and also people are more prone to trip and fall. And with floor reform, they didn't want the liability of people tripping because of the. So that would be my only bet. I think it looks better. I think it looks prettier. That would be my only concern with forcing big box stores and might have carts to be required to put the cart papers in. Plus, as a patron, I don't know if I want to be rolling my bottles of wine back and forth to the car, over the heavy papers. It's just something to think about. I think that's why we pulled it then. And we granted, we agreed to not make it in front of public, so they strike lines. But I don't know. I mean, it's up for everybody's discussion. I love the idea of requiring it on the outside of all of the peripherals. And then maybe if they're willing to screen for the what it looks like paper, it's not one of those options. But I still don't know if that causes or maybe if they're not having parts, it makes sense. I'm not sure, but let's discuss it, whatever you guys think.
So, Mr. Mayor, if you would, this is a public hearing, before you engage.
Oh, I thought it was the council.
Oh, yeah, it's like hearing, so it's, you do.
Oh, yeah, let's get the public's, do we have any comment cards? Yeah, come on up. Let's, the guy at the back, well, keep holding his hand up first. And if you could, fill out a comment card. You don't have to do it, man. But come up, state your name, address for the record. I'd love to hear what you have to say. It's open for, this is a public hearing item, so we're opening the public hearings and public comments.
I'm Dr. Chris Branson, and talking to Colonel Tara. What I wanted to say about that possibility is, can someone look at it from city manager point of view of what we've done with bicycles that also come across that type of pavement? Is there something where we slide and we slip, those kind of things like that? Also, when cars come up to a stop sign, you have a tendency more to slide when you do a type of that because it gets oil and water and those kind of things. The other thing I would want to address is that if you have it in a residential community, you have a lot of senior citizens such as myself, handicapped, those kind of things like that. So I would like to look at that also before we make a decision. Not just saying that it's a stop that we can't do this, but I would just say, let's look at that for disability and those kind of things, handicap, those kind of things, and look at it from a safety standpoint as far as our cars, vehicles, bicycles, golf carts that come across those pavements, because they tend to slide a lot.
Thank you, Councilman. Doctor, right, you got the colonel, people, sir.
Do we have more,
You have a comment from Catherine Rossler.
Good evening. Catherine Rossnell on behalf of Minto PBM LLC. Just on behalf of the developer in the area, we did want you to know that we do frequently receive comments about pavers from national chains. They are not well received for exactly the reasons that you articulated, Mr. Mayor, particularly with carts and for ADA compliance reasons and for upfront expense reasons. We internally have that discussion fairly often, and so the developer would be more supportive of allowing the internal crosswalks to be at the preference of the property owner and the developer. No objection to where they intersect with the multimodal pathways of the city for consistency. That certainly makes sense. But internally, we would like the flexibility as it is written in the proposed draft from staff. We would be supportive of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Butter. Bobby Fowler, 4829, St. Albans Way. Getting back to what you said, whether it's stamped concrete, whether it's not stamped asphalt, you're going to get that same blah, 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 blah. So I think you're getting it no matter what. What was not discussed over here in comparison with the chart is when you're using pavers and they do shift and they do come out and they do crack and then the rain. But there's no graph that which one of those three caused more lawsuits. And we're a little early in the city, right? We don't want that. I mean, that could bankrupt the city if you get enough of it. So I understand Gary's wanting to keep the aesthetics the same, but look into it a little deeply. Again, 88, you want to make it, but I think with what you said, stamp, concrete, asphalt, you're still going to get it. But where are more of the lawsuits based on it going there? The asphalt does bend, concrete breaks. So I think you should look into it a little bit more. And as a business owner, I would probably say no way. Because if anyone comes into a shopping center, any business, and they're forced to put these in, somebody falls, that lawsuit is on me, not you. So I would.
So just to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, if folks there, this is just everybody's, knowledge. There's a bill in Tallahassee right now. So cities have qualified immunity as caps, and they've been 300,000 or so for that, which is a lot. But it's not. They're about really. They're just about raising those from 1 to 3 million. Completely cripple this city. So I mean, it is a very, very prudent thing to be thinking about liability.
Well, that's why I said there was a graph or something to show, what the liabilities are for all three of those. I mean, if it may wake up, on your decision.
Well, I'm in favor of letting the property owners decide. Like Publix, for instance, knows the carts, we issue that in other places. They made the decision to do stripes, not pavers in the middle. So say the gym wants to do it because it's pretty and there's not going to be carts. They can decide to do it. And then I'm in favor of letting.
Just have them keep the color.
Correct.
If there's a color, if there's a great able look or a pattern, they can stamp it and do it, keep the colors the same, so it kind of looks like,
I believe that's the way you're going to do it. I guess if they do it, it has to be a standard. I don't want to force everybody to do it for the reasons with the cards and so on. But again, what is my, do we have any other, thank you for your comment.
let's hope they don't raise that liability
So, yeah, I've been following you closely. Do we have any other comments from the public on payments? Please, state your name and address for the record.
I'm sure from the hip here because I just, with the conversation, I'm Vito Leonardi from the Groves, 16124 Melville Grove Drive. And I've heard quite a few different things here. And the thing about pavers, when I first drove into Westlake, we were thinking about a lot in the home. I saw the paver driveways and I said, looks great. And they don't crack because every other home had with driveways. Like in Green Acres, one community, half of the driveways cracked. So pavers are great, they're easily fixable. Another important thing about that is water retention. We have the pavers, the water goes right down. You ever see when we get a really hard rain, the driveway is never flooded because the water goes right through. And so people want to seal their driveways because it looks better, but then they prevent the water from sinking down through the pavers. So the crosswalks, if you use pavers, I think that's also what as far as safety because they don't flood. You know, the water seeps through quickly. So that's another look. Plus, it does look good. Another thing, it's getting complicated about the businesses and the carts. My second career was 10 years with Publix. I pushed a lot of carts. And even when the blacktop is a little bit rough, you feel it. So I completely, at first I didn't think about that, but when it was mentioned, this is, oh yeah, you know, because I pushed a lot of carts around. And it does make a difference. So I would go with the, you know, compliments for the businesses to be able to change it the way that's best for them. But as far as within the community and the homes and the crosswalks across persimmon and all that, I think the pavers are the best looking thing and they do last like forever. I grew up in Brooklyn and I remember the streets with the Belgian blocks from the early 1800s and they last like for over a century. So, and they always look good and it was the same thing. You don't get water floods like that very easily.
Talking about the crosswalks.
Yeah, I realize that. Yeah, I tend to ramble on, but yes, I can understand the giving the businesses leeway with what they want to do because that is true. Yeah, okay. Thank you for letting me speak. Yeah.
Do we have any other comments from the public? Right, let's close the public hearing, open it up to council discussion. What do you guys think? You know my position.
I'm all for having a vertical interior, but I purposely pay for deviation. Comes to the same thing. Here's the reason why, and I agree with that. It would be set, but I think set looks good.
And you want to do, so you want to mandate pavers on the inside and then have them just the way of the top.
Yep, so.
Well, it's-
Well,
So yeah, they require them. So you're in favor of that as opposed to letting this decide whether they. Yes. So, what is the rest of my council?
So I support also the perimeter crosswalks connecting the multimodal pathways and also allowing the property owners and developers to select.
Agree with them. Great. I think that I did developments regardless to come to the city, I think that's what we don't.
Okay. That being said, we could.
Let me offer a final comment. Where you're headed on this ordinance is a hodgepodge. All of the reasons that you stated for not pursuing pavers and crosswalks on the interior apply to the ones that are on the exterior. So all of your concerns about
People that issue cards.
well, no, there's more than just people pushing cars.
That's my.
There's concern about quality, maintenance, et cetera. And then you're ending up with a hodgepodge. So I go out here seeing a very nice community, very quality development. And my fear is where this ordinance is headed,
result in mediocrity. You're not talking about businesses that are not pursuing it. You're talking about developers that are building the property, setting it up for businesses to lease it out. And it's the developer that will fund the cost of the crosswalk, and it would be the property owner eventually to maintain it. And if we want to maintain a higher quality design in Westlake, which is what I would look forward to, then we need to amend the ordinance.
So you think that the public plaza is lacking?
Yes,
It's not up to.
it's not, do you think all public plazas don't have papers? They do.
I know.
And they were able to get away with it, but they were able to get away with it here with you on the council, Mayor.
It's not, you get away with it, I don't think.
It's a lesser cost.
It's not about cost, it's about pushing a car over paved crosswalks back and forth.
How many bottles of wine have you broken pushing it across those
I'm
properties?
scared every single time.
Would they have to be scared?
Actually, I don't have to worry about it in the last 5 years, because we don't have this crosswalk.
Okay, well, the city of
Yeah,
Lawrence,
all right, let's not get off track. Let's keep.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just, the developer's not the developer, we don't have a business to come in and take on that piece of property. So if they're gonna develop with the thought of bringing in businesses, they're gonna want to do it to the best. Sustainable. So if it's a matter of papers and parts that are gonna not attract the business, the developer's not gonna. And they're not going to be attracted by it because of this.
I agree, and then for you to say that the business does not have the interest. Using Publix again as an example, Publix is not only the developer, but they are a business there, and they have all these tenants that are.
you still have
They
them,
are interested, but it's mostly their interest.
so you have them on the perimeter, the crosswalks. And all of the same issues that you raised for the interior still apply.
I believe my main issue was the thought was that parts, and those don't come on the curb, so. That would be, I mean, there's a reason, if you weren't here, they were set up, they made very valid cases why they didn't want them on the inside, and I tended to agree with them then, and I agree with them now. However, if they made a case for papers, how much they wanted. They would logic behind it. I'm in favor of, well, either way, if you want to amend the motion, if you want to amend the ordinance, you get a motion. Otherwise, let the motion go back to this.
I move that we adopt the ordinance number 2025-02 as written.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Leonard, seconded by Councilman Gleason. Roll call. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
No, for the reasons I stated earlier, I don't want mediocrity.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard. Motion carries 4-1.
Moving forward with second reading of ordinance 2025-03, chapter 113, zoning. That's amendment signs. The attorney by title.
Yes, sir. Ordinance by title only, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida. Amending chapter 113 titled Signs in the City of Westlake's Code of Ordinances by specifically amending section 113-8 entitled Master Sign Plan, section 113-11 titled Permitted Signs, and section 113-66 entitled Permitted Temporary Signs, providing for an amendment to notes and remarks, provide for a maximum number of signs, and for additional requirements relative to grand opening, project opening, and new business signs. Provide for codification, conflict, severability, and provide for an effective.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, City Planner, Stan Allen. Before you is ordinance number 2025-03. This is the second reading. This ordinance was recommended for approval for the first reading. However, there were some comments at the first reading, and we made minor changes. Request to amend the ordinance to provide for 10 days after opening, grand openings, project opening, since it extend the change to 10 days after opening, 30 days. Business, 7 days before the event to provide temporary signs. And then they will have to be included 30 days. So another change is in regard to those for verification purposes, we are changing one word, we're changing and to an or.
It's a big deal.
It's
Let's talk about.
so, says those or trademark may start the signs as follows. There's three criteria. These criteria are and is to for them to apply with one or the three, not the all of them. So we're changing the number two where it says consistent with an approved color scheme, the master sign plan, and that
Sign plan. Or
no, so the sign. You read number two?
two.
Yes.
That is the change from or. Okay.
Other than that, it has been all the changes to the first reading and it's
Or.
For those staff's recommendations for amendment to the ordinance setting.
yes.
What would be the effective date? Today?
Today or 30 days?
Sorry?
Today or 30 days after?
It's effective when the council approves it. So
Section 8 of the ordinance provides the ordinance shall be effective upon adoption of the second.
Today. Okay, questions? Well, let's open up public hearing. Anybody have any comments?
I received no public comment cards, Mayor.
Any comments from the public on signs?
Catherine Rossman with the Westlake again here on behalf of Bishop and DLH, just offering support for and support for the amendments as proposed as amended by your staff. Just very supportive of what we hear and appreciate the collaboration.
Comments from the closed public hearing? Public and open discussion with council. Motion. I need a motion for staff's recommended amendments.
I'll move approval of the staff recommended amendments.
Second. Okay, let's vote on that.
I'm sorry, who seconded that motion? Thank you. Motion by Councilman Warner, seconded by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call, Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Warner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Now I need a motion to approve as amended.
I'll move approval of ordinance 2025-03 as amended.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Warner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call, Councilman Warner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We have new business. Resolution 2025-11, vacation advisory board consideration and appointments of 5 regular members and one alternate member of city attorney title.
Rather than read the title at this point, I respectfully request you make the appointments and conduct the resolution to incorporate this.
So we're not part, can you address the market?
Per the city ordinance, the Education Advisory Board shall consist of 5 regular members and 1 alternate member. All appointments to the Education Advisory Board shall be for a 1-year period expiring on the following April 30th. The board currently consists of the following members as regular board members: Ms. Anita Kaplan, Ms. Lisa Barron, Ms. Colleen Ferlizzi, and Ms. Crystal Lexima. There currently remains 2 vacant positions on the board, 1 regular member seat and 1 alternate. And you have before you an application by Ms. Jennifer Christian Upia attached for consideration.
Is Ms. Jennifer here? And there's 2 seats open. 1 application. It's gotta go to, if I'd love you to come up and introduce yourself and say hello. Welcome.
Are you Jennifer Christian? Yeah, I'm in the 553 relay.
Education.
Yeah, I've been a teacher, well, I was a teacher for 8 years, and I've continued to write curriculum for a private company that is not used by public schools, so there's no conflict of interest. And I was the social studies teacher. I taught in 6th grade. 6th graders, middle school is my jam. I love them, and I just want to help make Westlake schools the best schools for our kids.
So much, have you done that?
I have,
I love having.
I am really excited about Monday. That's great.
Well, thank you so much for the application. Does anybody have questions? Well, thank you so much. Was that you? Anyone?
That's the only appointment.
Okay, so. Point. Now, council. Do we need to appoint all the existing and reappointment?
Yes, sir.
There are.
Yes, that's what people want.
That's right. So I need a motion to appoint the existing slate with the addition. And does everybody want to stay on it? The advisory board that's going to be on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like a motion to appoint the existing slate plus the new applicant, which will still leave the public, will still leave 1. We can't do public comments yet. You gotta do it at that little window. But we will have them to, unless we have not member of the public. You might want to be. They have a slide. Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, come on up. Let's hear it. Vacancy on the education advisory board.
Do not have my, from Christian Science. I'm at 54.9%. Well, this is the first meeting I've attended, because I moved out for a couple of months. But I would like to put in my resume. I am a JROTC, ROTC instructor. Also, I have a dissertation in ROTC. I have taught and been director of ROTC at Farmington Atlantic. I've also taught at FLU and at USF, ROTC. I was listening to the topics of information on the education advisory board about parents coming, as a city manager pointed out. I think we also need to point out that there's a lot of programs that our kids are not getting as they're getting bused from the schools. So there's probably some after-school programs, those types of programs going on that they can't take advantage of. So that should be the premise that we leave with, that, hey, there's a lot of programs going on in the schools on that advantage. But I do have the background, I did 30 years in the military, and I've been teaching since 2015, I taught at St. Pete, all of that. So if you're an ROTC, it's going to be pretty much for everybody.
1, thank you incredibly for your service. And 2, I only ask because I believe it's a caveat. Are you currently employed by any school in Palm Beach County?
No, I didn't.
Is there any other caveat that I may not know about?
In the city of Westlake. No, I have not lived in Palm Beach Gardens. So I moved to Palm Beach Gardens to this location.
How long have you been here?
Since my wife. Mark.
Is that in the committee bylaws? The 1-year thing? For the advisory board?
I would have to look at it. I can't get down the top of my head.
Yeah, let's, so we won't make a decision today. We got
dot some i's and cross some t's. But please get us your resume.
Yes.
I'll get Dr. Kaplan and want me to get.
2-6.
Here's an application.
Okay.
It's really short. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, then if they get the six pointers, but.
Thank you very much. So, the motion to approve the existing slate with the additions of still leaves a seat and an alternate.
About reappointment of the current Education Advisory Board members, plus the addition of the new applicant, Ms. Jennifer Christian Upia, to fill the empty seat, still leaving one available openly.
We have a motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilman Gleason. Roll call. Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Excellent.
Resolution by title only, resolution City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, appointing 5 members to serve on the Education Advisory Board, private complex, severability, and effective date.
Now I need to entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
Move approval of resolution number 2025-11.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Councilwoman Leonard. Roll call. Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Welcome to the advisory. We have before us resolution 25-12, American Public Places Advisory Board for consideration and appointment. 5 regular members, 2 alternate members, 1 non-voting member.
Now, clerk. We have any new applications, we have new vacancies, what's excluded?
No, this is just the same as the previous ordinance. And currently the board consists of the following members. Regular members, Ms. Jennifer Estes, Ms. Blair Lewis, Ms. Lauren Mondell, Ms. Carol Waldman, and Ms. Kim Lanza, an alternate board member, Johanna Jimenez.
So I'd like the motion to open up the council discussion. Existing slate, I need a motion to do so.
Move approval of the reappointment of the existing board as presented with the Art and Public Places Committee, the board.
Motion by Councilman Werner, seconded by Vice Mayor Langowski. Roll call. Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Resolution by title. Yes, sir. Resolution of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, appointing 5 members to serve on the Art and Public Places Advisory Board, private complex, servability, and effective date.
Okay, I need a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Gleason, seconded by Councilman Werner. Roll call. Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Werner.
Yes.
Councilman Gleason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Leonard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
If staff knows, what's the next thing that may be coming in front of the Art and Public Places Board?
Instead of,
So when?
well, actually, the next one is, ponds.
Westlake.
Westlake Pond.
That's part of the summer.
Yes,
When they schedule those meetings?
I have not received the application for that yet. It's due, so we'll get it.
And now for those businesses who are allowed to contribute to the fund, when this committee start deciding on something fun?
Did you figure out how much dollar we have for it?
What's that?
We'll figure out how much dollar we have in the pot and see what we can do.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's put it, make it work. And an issue that beautify the city.
Okay, council comments. Let's start with Councilwoman Leonard.
Good evening. Just like to start with Happy Teacher Appreciation Week to all of our teachers. Happy Nurses Week to all of our nurses, and Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Or simple.
Councilman Gleason.
Great job on Spring Fest, to put it together. I know my little junior councilwoman enjoyed herself. I also wanted to mention, don't forget that school is going to be ending very shortly. Let's keep our items visible view from our vehicles, make sure you, I think, there's crime opportunities to uptick during these times of the summer. So make sure you safeguard yourself with that. Stay home.
Thank you, Mayor. Of course, happy Mother's Day to all of us. And overlook that one. We have a strategic planning workshop coming up on May 24th. Very important for all of you here and watching at home that we attend, so we get the input from the community regarding how the city's vision should be developed and where we would want to go from here. On a similar note, the city is undertaking a comprehensive plan amendment. And I'm a bit concerned that we don't have a meeting place yet. And there are going to be plenty of people that work during the day that are not going to be able to come to we talked about having earlier, when the nights of our council meetings starting earlier, so we can cover the comprehensive plan update issues. And we're going to miss out on a lot of input from the community because of the hour of the day that would be held. So, number one, I would love to see the city manager finding a place for us to meet. We can't be here all the time because this is the Westlake HOA facility and we're subject to their schedule. So we're able to squeeze in our monthly meeting once a month that we're doing tonight. And that's what we'll be doing from this point forward, but possibly, and I gotten this consensus from the HOA that we'll be able to start earlier in the afternoon. Still, there are going to be people that are going to miss out. And I'd like to see the council perhaps consider flip-flopping the council meeting to an earlier time and then the city comprehensive plan update to a later time on the same night, just so we give everyone an opportunity to sit in and participate. Those are my comments.
With that, clerk will advertise and put the meetings for the council meeting to be early and the workshop will be afterwards.
I mean, to alternate them, I'm not. There will be people missing out on either the council meeting or the other. So if we can maybe alternate them, but I'll leave that up to the city manager and his discretion.
That's really what we think is important. We didn't get pushback.
Right, and it's really the better way to go is to find a place for us to have council meetings and community meetings.
The only thing is they have to be within city limits, as I remember correctly. Mr. Haynes.
Correct.
And so therefore, there is no other space within the city limits except for this.
I personally had a discussion
Right.
just a couple of days ago.
And we do have an RFP going out for lease space, that we will be looking at leasing some space of potentially some of the upcoming buildings in order to have a space that's for the city this time.
It's not just us, it's finding.
Of course.
It's invited.
Yeah.
It's this space. Thank you for your comments.
Vice Mayor.
One thing I'll mention is my next episode of Let's Chat Westlake. There's this comes Saturday, the following Saturday, the 17th at the Lodge. I'm going to launch the Adventure Park, first pavilion right near the main entrance. I'll be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to chat with anybody who wants to talk about Westlake. Issues, concerns, ideas, and I'll be on 17th from 10 to 2.
Sure. I will keep it short. Certainly happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. You guys are the real MVPs, the real heroes. Thank you for all you do. I want to echo Councilman Warner's call for this public engagement aspect of the strategic planning, which is on May 24th. Next
Saturday, 9:05.
It is so imperative that the public inputs them. We have had input, gets an input there. We've hired a specialist, Dr. Dale Sugarman. He has already gone through and met with us individually one at a time. Then there's going to be this public engagement aspect that we're not even allowed to attend. All the public engaging with Dr. Dale, telling him your vision, what you want, what you don't want, your idea of the city. And he's going to take all that public engagement and bring it back to our, basically the boot camp, let's call it, for us council members with Dr. Sugarman in terms of strategic planning. I cannot stress how important that public is. For us, it's over 2 days. That public engagement aspect of it with Dr. Dale, I think is so important. I'm also going to ask Alicia to get the word out. And I requested one for, I can't stress enough how I want to see the public involved in this. So please, on that note, thank all my colleagues for their leadership as always. And let's get into staff reports.
We have PBS snow and fire.
Let's invite PDSO.
You do have written reports before. So please in advance to get my back. To speak to you. I'm glad you moved well. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you been? Like I said, welcome. Welcome, my partner. Welcome to, thank you for your service. You almost got me beat. Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So can you please just tell me what report that Carol is?
April.
Okay, you have it? I'll have to make sure we're looking at the right report. So this report I got is good. I'll make sure. Okay, my voice carries. Can you hear me? All right, folks, we're looking pretty good.
Madam Clerk, can we get the report on the screen for the home? We have that?
No, because we got it this afternoon.
Okay.
I'll fire my staff. We're supposed to get it somewhere. So I've been very, very busy. That's a good thing for me because I'm spread out between Westlake, Los Taxi, and Los Groves. And over the last few months, I've been making my way to make sure that I get to spend some quality time with as many people that can get to know. And just so you guys all know, your traffic concerns, I'm going to do the periodically, don't finish on it. Your traffic concerns are real. Okay? They're all real. You guys all move down here, Brooklyn, Queens, and it's everything all over, right? It's like the rest of us, right? But here's the upside to it is property values growth, modernization of areas commence. But people need to do what? Travel. They need to drive around and hump your roads. The good has to go with the bad. And some of the side effects of the increased population, and I'm preaching to the choir, some of the consequences of the increased population is what? Traffic. I'm going to say one thing to you, and that I've said many, many times before, and I think you guys will agree with me. We have a traffic problem, but I'm going to share some videos with you in a minute. But you know what we're going to have? A courtesy problem. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
We have a courtesy problem because people, human beings that you share space with, don't know how to be polite to each other. They do not know how to display courtesy. They want courtesy displayed to them, us. But it's a two-way street. We agree. So please do this for me. Let that resonate. Talk to your friends, talk to your children, talk to your family, talk to the dog, wherever you got to talk. To see if we can completely deliver that message. Because there's nothing I can do, as tenacious as I am in my effort. That's New York, and it's either you love us or you hate it, right? But there's nothing that I can do from my perch with all my experience that can fix this problem. I'm going to tell you that right now. So I hope you don't have too high expectations that this commander is going to come in and sweep all this traffic concern off the table. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And I'm a guy that says no to not giving up and finding a way, but that's not going to happen. Until we can launch some type of campaign, which I don't know if there is one out there, that can really get and touch the soul of people to start being courteous to each other on the roadway. We're going to continue to talk about this, right? So please be careful, be courteous. Let me share some good news with you. The construction, burglary construction area in the old area here is down. It dropped off the shelf. We're down over 80%. Okay. I had to feel that's due to a large cooperation with the city, with the builders, very well placed discussions, and some video cameras that are now being monitored. Right. So all of a sudden, these things drop. I want to ask no questions. I'll just take the win, but it's down.
Starting about down from last month or down from last year?
No, year to date, we're down 80%. We're down 80%. We went from 20 down to 4, which is very, very good. Right? So let's keep trending in that direction. Traffic crashes, we're down 8% year to date, right? So like I said, please don't take it that I'm minimizing any of your concerns because they're real. But the truth is, the data supports, we're down 8% on crashes. Would you guys all agree that there's a lot of cars out there? I don't know the answer, so we can't be wrong. But how many would you venture to say travel throughout Westlake in any given day, month? The answer would be a whole lot, right? And I say this to you with cause because I want to put it in perspective. We have 35 crashes amongst all these cars. Folks, one is too many. First was too many. But we're okay. 35 amongst all these cars. Right? So let's keep trending down. We're up 5% on calls for service year to date compared to last year. So we're in good shape there as well. Ironically enough, in the heat map, crashes hotspots, just where you guys have described, is where we're coming up with that. While I was sitting in the back enjoying some of the discussions, favorites, I was launching an initiative as well. So I already have sergeants in place that we're going to put on that area. That's stop sign that you're concerned with. Is that the stop sign, right? You got it? All right. So this is how effective your commander is. I've already started the initiative to get that rolling. Don't come back to me and say, "Oh, no, on you." Okay. And I told them, make a proclamation if you have to. I told them, zero tolerance. You know what zero tolerance means? It means that you guys have spoken to me. You nearly died. I take that serious, right? Zero tolerance is there's no talking your way out of it. Well, the summit's going on, right? It's a slow California roll. New York, we did this. If you don't stop at the stop sign in those areas there we described, we're all getting tickets. Take me if you will. This is what you asked. Fair? I'll get you out of it just one time. All right, overall, listen, I don't want to take up much of your time. I know my fire commander here wants to get up here and yell a little bit, but it's really been a pleasure. Is any questions for me? Is that okay, Vance? Okay.
I just take exception with the California roll.
I was referring to a sushi roll.
Mind if I use your name?
Someone that cares.
I'll give you that. What do you got?
As far as the traffic goes, we talked a lot about that. We should have mentioned something. Because now the Edgewater Drive going towards Seminole Practically Road, they're building townhouses, like they're popping up like flowers there. And when those houses are full, that Edgewater route around the roundabout and going out Seminole Pratt, that is gonna be really busy. And I know the only time I will go out there is like tomorrow morning for a purpose, I leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. And even then, early in the morning, it's hard to make that left. So that, when all those houses are full, there's several hundred townhouses being built there. No one's in them yet. When that development is full.
Get out of here.
When they, we move to beat the traffic.
So listen, we'll deal with it. Trust me, I see this.
Yeah.
Let's not get too far ahead of our worry. We'll get you. Yes.
We
We have very smart people here that are gonna make those decisions. You're very confident and capable commander. You don't need to worry me. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Keep the word
I
in.
think you realize that it's gonna be
Way
traffic like that. Yes.
Listen, I don't know if you do something. We good? I may not see you for the next couple months, so I'm gonna take advantage of this. So listen, I'm gonna be serious. I'm always serious, but let me be really serious now. There's a case we just had on Seminole Pratt. I'll talk about traffic on this topic for them failing.
Sir, can you speak to?
You're killing me. You ready?
You can take this.
Oh, I can take it all.
You can adjust that. But take it back.
All right, listen, there's a case on Seminole Pratt we just had where it was road rage. You guys know what road rage is, okay? Folks, my brother just came down from the Northeast and he was concerned as well because he realized that everyone's got a gun in the state. Everyone's got a gun. So please, I won't scare you at all. I won't scare you, but I'll let this be a level of concern. Avoid it. Avoid it at all costs. Please. If somebody cuts you off, somebody flips you off, somebody says something to you you don't like, just let them go. And then they're out of your life forever. Because this could have went sideways really quick. Really could have went quick. You never know what someone's going to do. Right? So please just let them go. Let them go. If they follow you and they want to pursue you, don't confront them. You all got cell phones? Call 911 very calmly, give us your location, and I assure you, one of my deputies will be coming to you very quickly. Okay? Okay? Last but not least, we had a case over at the warehouse, the storage location. We had a ring, an organized ring of thieves that were stealing boat GPSs. Yeah. Right. So now I want to leave you with this, but another great case that the deputies are doing in this city is they broke up that ring, arrested everybody, and not only did they were hitting Westlake, they were hitting multiple cities along the way. So some fantastic police work is going on. Okay. So I hope you guys, and I hope all you guys are as impressed and as proud to be deputy sheriffs in this town of Zion. Okay. So I will leave you with that. I want to also wish all the moms in the room a very happy and healthy Mother's Day, well deserved. And if you guys ever need me for anything, don't pull away. Okay?
All right. Let's get fire up here. Not gonna do that good.
Like Jonathan Hughes, chief of station 22, chief of member, sorry, she couldn't make it. She asked me to review the turnout percentage for We were in 58 calls from 6 to 22 April. The average response time to dispatch in to sending the call out to our station was 42 seconds. Once the call was received by our station, the average about 41 seconds for our crews to put on proper gear and respond. The average travel time for that month was 5 minutes and 26 seconds for an overall response time of 6 minutes and 49 seconds. We try to stay underneath the 7-minute mark, so that we're still hitting it. The average call is 50% of the calls. Chief of Marijuana made a follow-up with Council Gleason. False alarms. Did you get the report for that or answer?
No.
Okay. So she said that with the alarms, there were 153 alarms that were ran. Of those alarms, 104 of them were false alarms. So 92%.
What can we do to help reduce that number of false alarms?
So it's
Education.
it's a combination of everything. Sometimes it's faulty equipment. Sometimes people hit the button trying to set up the alarm and just accidentally.
Gotta be a price to come, right? Gotta cost money for the false alarm.
I think it's rare. Or that they're available and they're on a false alarm. It's a lot. The price that they put on is there isn't there nobody.
So majority of them were unintentional alarms, 37%. Second was activated due to malfunctions, 20%. And then next was we got called to and canceled.
So at least for the accidental, some kind of a education. Malfunction or malfunction?
You know, they're repeat from the same.
I don't have those numbers in front of me.
Or there would be concerned that.
So like when we go to like say fire alarm, we go there with medical leave, our community rescue department reaches out to them and so it's fine. So second word, how many calls, but it's not many. Big mothers do that won't get caught.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, yeah, city attorney? City manager?
I have a couple things, Mr. Mayor and Council.
We talk about trees?
You get the trees. Okay. First of all, the Happy Program. Today, we had funded 50 different homeowners. And in the next 3 months, we have another 10, 15 in the pipeline. So that'll be close to 45, 65 or so by the next 3 months. That we'll have funded. On the trees, I have had the architectural arborist do some research and get back to me. This is a response I'll read to everybody. Eutrophias are planted within the city of Westlake, and they're highly common ornamental landscape species in South Florida. There's an article which speaks to Eutrophias species commonly selected as a species in ornamental landscapes. Yes, Eutrophias can be toxic if ingested or can cause irritation if the oil or sap of the leaves comes in contact with the skin. However, this fact alone does not prohibit the use of the species in landscape. The city of Westlake defines prohibited plant species as a Category 1 invasive plant species as defined by the Florida Exotic Plant Pest Control Council. For that council, the invasive plants are termed Category 1 invasive when they are alternating native plant communities by displacing native species, changing the community structures and ecological functions, or hybridizing natives. Eutrophia is not a Category 1 invasive species, nor Category 2 or on the watch list. In an effort to retire outdated invasive species terminology, the Florida Exotic Pest Control Plant Council formally changed its name to Florida Invasive Species Council. It is not common practice for municipalities to prohibit toxic plant species. It is common practice to avoid placing toxic species around certain uses like daycare centers, memory care centers, or golf parks. The explicit use and restriction of toxic plants are not written or defined in the city's code. It is not common for a municipality to enforce specific plant species application restrictions in primary invasive plant species as noted in the previous paragraph. The shrub is one of many varieties of ornamental plant species that are commonly used in ornamental landscaping. Others include oleander, lantana, lilies, ivy, sago palms, caladiums, etc., etc. For all these reasons here, I would not recommend the removal of Eutropius or any other ornamental plant material that is currently installed and thriving in the city of Westlake. My recommendation is echoing the residents' printage of the AI response is don't adjust the plants.
Okay, thank you for that report. I'm gonna do my own little digging into the Eutropius, which I haven't done yet. Just, you know, I don't know if this is one of those like fluoride in the water situation, or, you know, chocolate mulch is bad for dogs.
I will go with the landscape.
Yeah, no, I agree.
As the expert of what is used and stuff here.
No, we don't know, so I appreciate that. Thank you for looking at stuff. What else you got for us?
Next thing is, we received a notice of public hearing from the county on 60th Street from Sonoma Pratt Whitney west to the GL properties. They are in the process of working on that and public hearing to change the alignment of the along that north property line. So that's coming up.
What's the date?
I do not have the date on, but I'll get it out to council.
Thank you.
The other thing is to remind everybody that the traffic signals on Sonoma Pratt Whitney are controlled by the county. You've got a problem with the traffic light on Sonoma Pratt Whitney, contact the county traffic signal division and report. That's the proper place. You can report it to me, I'll end up reporting it to them in just the latest time. So if you see it happening before I did, call it in.
Is there a phone number we can get?
It's on the county's website.
County's website.
Yes. The next item is, as we're coming up to budget season, I know we need to have some workshops, but in the meantime, I did not have my estimated taxable value until July 1st. I may get a preliminary in January and start working on some budget issues, but until July 1st to 15th is when I actually get them. So we'll be looking at August, maybe late July and August to actually have workshops with the council on the budget and where we're going forward. You do not actually approve it until September.
Finals. Finals
In September. First and second hearings are in September. They're set by statute to be a certain number of days apart. They cannot be on the same day as the school board, the county, and there's 3 or 4 others.
Let's make sure we get as soon as humanly possible.
In the meantime, if the council has items or ideas that they would like to make sure that we try to put it in the budget, get them to me so I can start looking at them, creating the list and say, how much is that going to cost? So that I can start putting that in, and then when we come together, we can say, hey, yes, we can fund this, or no, we can't fund this. Or if you want to fund this list of items, we can't lower the assessment for the millage rate, or we can set the millage rate depending on the values. All of that comes into play. And again, to everybody, happy Mother's Day, and let them up as well.
All right, let's open up for public comments. Madam Clerk, do we have any comments in the public?
I have a comment card from Ms. Alicia Torres.
Slave Wanderer.
Hi, Alicia Torres, 5847 Woodward Circle. Just want to say a big thank you to everybody for all of the hard work that you're doing. I know this can be a thankless job because a lot is happening behind the scenes. You know, from the Education Advisory Board people to Zoe Burgess, our city clerk, the unsung hero. I don't know how you do it. There has to be at least 3 of you you know, specifically for you, this is a different city every day. It's not an established city that's well oiled. So having to manage or clerk something like this, let's just be a beast. You know, anyway, thank you. I did want to point out, I did a quick Google, I'm just a resident, but it does look like you do not need to be for the Education Advisory Board, a resident of Westlake for a year, just as a resident. Yeah, and then also, someone pointed out to me that not only is our middle school not zoned nicely, but also the elementary schools are split. So some part of Sky Cove, at least one of the Sky Coves, is zoned not equitable. So I just keep hearing that it's the middle school that needs rezoning, but it's also the elementary school. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Do you have any other comments from the public? Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:35 PM. Thank you all.
Just yet, okay.